Hello. It's been almost a week, and I haven't made a video. So I was thinking maybe I should just do it. Today's Sunday, March 19th. 2 days ago was St. Patrick's Day. Up and here come the yawns. Don't know why that happens every time I start recording. But yeah, I was thinking earlier, I have just made banana bread for the first time in my life, and it looks like it came out pretty good. I'm excited to try it. But I just really felt like doing something, like I always do, just doing something. So, I did something. I made banana bread, and because of that, I felt like I should do something else I haven't done in a long time. And so for 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes of my timer, I sat down in front of the mirror and I meditated for the first time in, I really can't even remember the last time I meditated. I think it was definitely before, it's probably been over a month. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. You know what I think it is? After I go from being silent and thinking a lot and contemplating in my head to just not just talking, but talking nonstop, kind of has to wake my body up, get my faculties straight. So that's what I'm assuming it is. Every time I cut one of these on, I start yawning like crazy. I decided to meditate, and if I'm honest, I haven't meditated because I guess, I don't know, you stop meditating for a while and you start doing a bunch of other stuff, and you kind of lose sight of the purpose of meditating. And not just that, but after you don't clean your room for a very long time, the mess only gets bigger, it feels. And so the further away you get from doing something, the easier it gets to not do it. So I just haven't decided to meditate at all, just because I feel like there's so much on my mind and there's so much I'm going through. I always find it really interesting because it's kind of paradoxical that I'm constantly good Lord. I'm constantly doing things that I feel are helping to improve me in my life. I'm making changes ever so slightly, just because I feel like doing the same thing over and over again has gotten me nowhere. And so you would assume that after making all of these changes, I would be more open to looking at myself and more open to dissecting my problems and stuff, because I feel like I'm doing it. It's kind of like getting in the ring. After you do it a lot, it just becomes easier. You just get accustomed to it. But for me, when it comes to meditating, I don't know what it is. I guess lots of times I feel like I can't do anything about my problems regardless. And so because of that, thinking about them isn't going to change anything. It won't do anything but get me in my own head, I guess, is how I feel. But I don't know if that's an excuse for me not wanting to try and deal with what it is that I have going on. So regardless, I haven't meditated, but I just did now. And the reason being is that I have a mushroom trip planned between me, Donovan, and my new friend Jake, who Donovan introduced me to. We'd been talking about it for maybe a couple weeks to a month now. And the date's coming up. It'll be next Saturday that we're gonna trip. And this last week has been busy, good busy. I did a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. I went to go watch Creed 3, which I really like to do. I went to the dentist. I hung out with my friends. Like I said, Sierra and Jordy came up for St. Patrick's Day, which was awesome. I just loved it so much. It was such an experience. It was all over the spectrum of good, bad, happy, sad. I experienced it all that night. um, so I really did enjoy it. But now I feel like my sights are turning towards this next weekend. I don't have too much to do this week aside from the usual. Every time I look at myself, I don't know why. This Tuesday, I'm gonna go watch Shazam 2 with the family. But aside from that, I have no more plans this week except for tripping. And it has been well over a year since I last tripped. Well over a year, maybe closer to 2. And even though I don't think my last trip was bad at all, I keep a fucking count of all these yawns, Jesus. My last trip didn't go bad, but trips are never easy. A trip is never, an easygoing thing, or at least not for me, not the way that I try to trip, because I do things with a purpose, I don't think I've ever taken mushrooms just to have fun and party. That mushrooms is not for partying. Mushrooms is for digging deep into your soul. I really have no clue how people can take a handful of mushrooms and then go to a club or something like that. Like, how are you not contemplating the stars in your existence and all of that while you're getting turned up? It doesn't make any sense to me. I always find it interesting whenever people tell me that they do mushrooms for fun or that they've only done it to, for any other reasons besides self-actualizing. I don't get it. So I'm nervous, and I have been nervous. And this last week, I didn't do all too much thinking when it came to my trip because, like I said, I was just kind of focusing on the things I had in front of me. But now that I'm going to trip in 6 days, I really would like to be prepared for what it is I'm going to go through, as opposed to just winging it and going, well, whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. That's true, and that's the reason why I'm making this video and meditating and trying my best to get myself spiritually prepared for the journey I'm about to take. So, one sec. Blow my nose. I kind of brought up the idea of tripping to Donovan, if I can remember. And the reason why is that I remember he had a trip with Jake himself, just the two of them, and he said it was really beneficial for him. And they use substances the same way that I do for the purpose of, it's a tool, And so I talked to Donovan a lot about it, and I said I feel like it's something that we should do, and it'll be a new experience doing it this intentionally. Never before have everybody that I have tripped with been on the same page where we really need just, this is a sacrament in a sense, and I feel like I always feel that way, but I don't control the way that other people, perceive things or that they go about things. But this will be the very first time that it's all solely for the purpose of putting in work, which is why I'm grateful that I'm doing it with these two guys, because these two guys have more ambition than I do and more drive and more discipline, which is good for me because, you hang out around a bunch of people that do one thing, and you'll be the person doing the same thing. Hang out with a bunch of alcoholics, and you'll be the next one. But if you hang out with two people that are intentional about their lives, then you'll become the third. So I'm happy that I have them there, and I'll have them there in the same mind state that I have, not just consciously but intentionally. I think is going to be really beneficial. And I was speaking with Jake yesterday. I was supposed to go up with him or up to him in Ogden because yesterday there was a fight card. Leon Edwards beat Kamaru Usman in a decision. It was probably like 4-1 or something like that. Gaethje beat uh, Rafael Fiziev in a decision. It was a good card. It was fun. But because we were still recovering from St. Patty's Day the night before, and Sierra was here and she was trying to leave early, we just decided against going up to Ogden. And so I let him know, and we texted a little yesterday, and he asked me if I had any intentions set for this trip. And he's not the first one to bring it up. Donovan has said something about that too, but I guess aside from having really, really strong, profound questions, I've never sat down and been like, before I trip, the reason I'm going to trip is because of this. It's always usually that I have such a burning question, or I feel like I just need to fix things. Everything is so generalized with me. A perfect example of that is me going to the gym. When I go to boxing, I never ever have in mind something that I'm going to improve. I always go for the sake of, it's more of a morale thing. It's more me going, see, man, we're doing something. We're putting in work for ourselves. And I usually come home feeling good just because of that, you know. But it's very, very rare that I'll go to the gym thinking I'm gonna improve my left punch. I'm going to improve only my footwork. I'm gonna improve my defense today. And I feel like the reason for that, I've said this a million times, but I just don't understand, uh, like economically, how things how things correlate. And so I think, you know, if I go to the gym and I work on my left hand today, I feel like unless I'm consistently working on my left hand, what good is it to go in for one day to practice, you know, fixing something if I'm not going to stick with it? To me, it doesn't make sense how going in one day to work on head movement is going to amount to great head movement down the line in my life, you know? Um, I mean, that's really how most of my life is. It's really hard for me to see how the bricks that I'm putting down now will come to equal a house later on in life. Um, because I feel like in order to improve like that, you have to be so dedicated and so consistent. It's not just about going in one time to work on my left, it's about going in every time to work on my left. And things just become overwhelming, and I feel like there's too much that I have to focus on or improve. And it's essentially like somebody's filling my arms up with something, and after a while it just gets to the point where shit's overflowing. I feel like I'm losing things. I'm not taking care of the things I said I would be taking care of because I'm taking on new tasks and stuff. Um, and so for those reasons, I always just put my hands up and go, fuck it. Let me just do my best at just doing, you know, and I lose the intention behind things. So when Jake said, you know, you should write down some intentions for this trip, you know, I told him, well, I'm sure I told him okay, but I also let him know that that's not something I really do. I'm just not that way, not intentional with things in my life. And again, the reason why is just that I feel like unless you decide that you're going to stay intentional with something, there's no point in doing it now, you know. I feel like once you make a decision, you have to commit to that decision for the rest of your life, you know. Shit, maybe that's something that I can I can try and work on and think about when I'm tripping. I after meditating only for 10 minutes, something that kept popping up to me is just the fact that my whole life is pretty much governed by my emotions, and they always have been. Everything I do is for the sake of feeling better. And that doesn't always mean doing terrible things. That could mean doing something like meditating or making a video, you know. But it's always for the sake of feeling better. feeling good. And then usually whenever I do feel good, I don't really look past it. I know that it won't stay with me, so I try to enjoy it. And I just accept that this isn't a state that I can stay in. So um, I just kept thinking, if my life isn't governed by my emotions, if my emotions are not the thing that are driving me, then what is? Because I really don't feel I have anything. It's always been the way I'm feeling at the current moment. And if it's bad, I'll be driven to make myself feel better. And if it's good, I'll be driven to try and keep it that way. But it all has to do with the way I feel, everything. And that's why I feel like I can never be consistent, or determined, or dedicated to anything. That's why I feel like I don't have any discipline, because how I feel in one moment is never how I feel in another moment. Emotions themselves are not consistent at all. And so um, I'll feel a way about something, like my dreams, something that I'm kind of giving up on, just because I don't feel a reason to chase them. I don't feel the purpose behind going after what it is that I want. But that's something I wish I had enough discipline to just do, as opposed to doing whenever I feel like I need it. Because of that, I feel like I lose a lot of trust in myself, and I have my whole life, because I just don't trust Greg later to do what I'm committing to now. It's always been that way. That's been my entire life. I am the epitome of the person who gets a sudden burst of energy in the middle of the night to fix their entire lives, and I'll bust out push-ups. And I haven't done this in a long time, but back in high school, that's how it was. It was like, just during the middle of the night, I'd be like, fuck this, I'm gonna get good grades, I'm gonna join a sports team, I'm gonna be nicer, I'm gonna this, I'm gonna that. And those feelings never ever stay. And over the course of my life, over the course of my 24 years, I have just come to realize that no matter what I say, I might not mean it later. And that slowly deteriorates the trust that I have in myself, just because I can't trust myself to be consistent. I know that I want things for myself, but Greg later might want something different, and that will always not coincide, or always collide with what it is that I want to do. It's a huge reason why I'm like so financially illiterate. I'm so terrible at saving and being good with money, because as much as I might feel now that I want to have a future later, what happens when I feel hungry? What happens when I feel sad and I want to fix that by whatever, buying a video game, or going out to eat, or driving somewhere to go hang out with friends. I have tried and tried since I've started working back in fucking, I don't know, I was 14 or something, for 15, 16. Ever since I've had money, essentially, even before then, when I was a little kid in my apartment complex taking trash out for people and stuff like that, I've tried to be smart about those things. But again, things just don't correlate to me. I don't see how saving, my $5 now and not eating it is going to one day lead to me having hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And so I would really like to be able to find, I feel like a reason is kind of a scary word now, or I don't know, I just feel like reasons can put you in a box, or I guess for me, reasons are based on emotion, and so my reasons are constantly always changing. So I say I want to find a reason to get better or be more disciplined or whatever. That to me is a feeling. That to me is expressing how I feel right now about the situation that I'm in, as opposed to, I don't even know what else there could be if it's not a reason for doing things. If you don't have a reason, then why do anything, you know? I would love to get to the point where I am disciplined enough that I can do things and trust myself to continue doing them. On one of these calls that I've been hopping on weekly, they're training videos for the summer. They'll have a speaker, you know, and they'll speak for an hour about, you know, tips and tricks for knocking doors. And something I heard a couple weeks ago that stuck with me a lot, somebody said that the best definition that they've heard for confidence is making promises to yourself and keeping them. And that, I mean, that makes sense to me. You know, that sounds good. I like that definition, but it also points out to me just a huge glaring issue that I have in my life, that it's like, no wonder I don't have any confidence. I don't trust myself to do things that I say I'm gonna do, but I really don't know how to just get myself to do it. I always feel like there needs to be a catalyst in my life that drives me to make a choice, because I feel like if I'm the one making that choice of my own free will, that the choice won't stay, you know? So, yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot, and I would really like to get to that point where I can make promises to myself and keep them, because if it were, I guess it has nothing to do with being easy, huh? Because if it were easy, everybody would do it. I guess it is the fact that it's difficult to make promises to yourself, and being able to keep them proves to yourself that you can accomplish difficult things, which goes to create confidence. And I guess it just builds like a snowball that way if you can keep with it. I'm excited too because lots of people have heard it's my favorite motivational speech. It's by Eric, the hip hop preacher, I think. But just talking about doing things and having the motivation to get things done. And you know, my friend Jared showed that to me way back when we were camping in like middle school or something like that. It was like a church camping trip. But it's been one of my favorite videos since, and I haven't watched it in a really long time. But I always told myself I really want to watch it while I am tripping, when I'm on mushrooms and I'm very vulnerable and open to ideas and changes and stuff, because I feel like it might be able to help unearth something within me that will help me change, you know, a reason. I'm proud of myself for all the stuff that I've done so far, that I've gone through. It's the 19th, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 7, 19, 26. Wow. There's no way. There is a way, because we just watched the last UFC, which was yesterday. And the last time that I smoked was, okay, no, even then, I stopped smoking a week before the last UFC. So it might have been 26 days. I might be going 26 days now without smoking. Thank you. I'm proud of myself for that. And the further I get away from smoking, the less I feel I need it. So things like that, making changes like that. I can't even remember if I said anything the last video, but I got rid of all the nudes that I got, and since then, I feel like I've had a lot more luck on Tinder and dating apps. Just, I felt like I can't even explain. It's so difficult for me to put into words the experience that I was having beforehand. Um, but, I feel like the universe sees what you do, and it sees you trying to make moves, and it will give you a bone every once in a while. Um, so I say all this to say that I've been making changes, and I've been, even up till now, I'm still trying to do little things that will help improve my life, even though I have no clue what I want to do with it, where I want to go with it. Um, so this is another thing, another little thing that I'm gonna do, and I hope it will yield big results. Oh yeah, I cut my hair. I said I was gonna do that. Uh, and I feel like that's also helped a lot with confidence. I just feel a lot cleaner. I feel like I look cleaner. I feel more presentable and stuff like that. But that's a huge change too. I mean, I've been growing out my hair for 2 years, more than 2 years, close to 3 years. In fact, it might even be more than 3 years now. And I chopped it all off, and I feel like I did something. I feel like I made a change. Not that having long hair was bad at all or anything like that, but I made a choice. And I feel like that choice, just like the rest of these choices I'm making, are slowly starting to build something. Again, I just have no clue what the fuck I'm building towards, what I'm looking to be, how I'm looking to live. And so that's why I really hope that taking this sacrament is going to help give me perspective, because I have been making so many choices and I've been making so many changes. And deep down, I just really feel like I don't know why I'm stacking bricks. I don't know what it is I'm trying to build. I have no clue. All I know is that I'm making something. Like I said in my last video, I'm building a savage and I don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'd like to get a second to really be able to assess who I have become in these last couple months opposed to who I was last year, because I feel like I'm going to see a huge difference, and hopefully through the influence of mushrooms I'll be able to really see where it is that my soul is trying to go, where I'm trying to be, because right now I don't feel it, but we're learning that feelings can only get us so far. We need other reasons to be alive. So I'm excited and I'm happy, and I'm glad that I did this video, because when I started it, I really had no idea what the hell I was going to talk about, but there you go. This right here is, wow, it's probably backwards. If you can read it, you can read it. But these are questions and stuff that I've written down, and I'm sure that over the course of the next couple days I'm going to continue to think intentionally, because if there's one thing Greg has, we all know, it's questions, and I can crank those out like a motherfucker. So if I'm in an influenceable state, hopefully I will be able to concentrate more and really delve into these things. I mean, all these questions I'm asking, they're not easy questions. They never are, but being in a different place mentally really helps me open up to ideas. Like I've said, eating mushrooms is like eating acceptance. And so when things get way too difficult to think about or to look at, mushrooms comes in and it holds you. Psilocybin will come here and it will cradle you and allow you to really be comfortable going into dark, deep places in order to help bring light to them. So I'm excited, and I really hope that it comes to benefit me. That's it, and that's all I got for you. I love you, and I will see you on the next one.